Hello everybody, welcome. Another tutorial, my second tutorial. If there's one thing you haven't noticed, I got a new mic, something I really needed if I wanted to make more tutorials. So the last tutorial, microphone, terrible. I asked on TikTok, if you don't know my TikTok's on the screen right now, go follow if you haven't already. I asked on TikTok if there's a tutorial for anything y'all wanted, and out of the troll comments there were two for text, one for animation on my edit I did like a week ago, I think, second most recent one, and motion graphic text. So this thing in common, we're going to be learning text today, motion graphic and just text animation in general. I won't go too deep into typography because that's like a whole different lesson y'all can learn somewhere else, because I'm sure there's some other YouTubers or editors that can teach you something better from that. So first thing, composition, obviously, obvious thing. Text, we're doing text, so obviously like text tutorial or whatever, any frame rate, it doesn't really matter what frame rate you do. For the text animation part, we're going to be doing posterized time anyways for what I like to do, so frame rate doesn't matter really. I use 15 usually, but so boom, begin to our part. Boom, we have white space, usually used for motion graphic stuff. Let's just set up our scene real quick. Like we don't have a song, but let's just set up like a quick scene that we could do. Now, in terms of motion graphics and text, it heavily relies on the theme of what you're going for and the font. Font is the most important thing about a text, because that makes or breaks a text. Like this looks cool how it is right now, then we change it to something like this. This does not fit the soft tone of what like the stars are giving off. This looks like some Slender Man find the 8 pages, and I don't think that's the theme that this is giving. So in terms of the theme, we're gonna go with something we had before, or what we had before, days one. I don't know where I found this. You can just search up days one font, and you'll probably find this. But yeah, that's the first thing about motion graphic text. Another thing is more so about 3D. In terms of motion graphic stuff, 3D is very important. I've never seen a motion graphic edit that didn't involve 3D, and that's just based on what I see. I see a lot of motion graphic edits. I don't see anything that's like not 3D. I'm gonna be real with you. If you wanted to learn a tutorial on how to get into 3D or do stuff in 3D, then I'd heavily recommend that. But this is not the tutorial for you, because we're not doing that. But basically, you get 2 views. Which camera was it, or which one was it? Custom view 1. Yeah. So this is probably the best view that you can get. So let's say like you want to zoom into the text, like the text will be far away. Like let's say the text will be like far away, and let's say you want to zoom into the stars first. Like let's say the stars are like the main thing that you wanted to come out of. So let's say you bring the camera out, stretch the camera out, something like this, and keyframe it. Let's keyframe it. And let's say you wanted to add just a few more stars, make a red star somewhere, like right here, and then move it. Let's say you wanted to like slide it. Boom. Let's say you wanted to like keep a star like right here, and you wanted to slide it, like slide the camera. Say we do this, and then goes to here, and then make a null. If you don't know how to parent nulls and do nulls and stuff, this is not the tutorial how to do that. You should already know how to do this, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now you want to zoom in on the text, on just how to get the motion graphic feel, something like this. And now you're gonna be with this. This is very slow. Now this looks very stiff, but all it really needs is a graph. Boom. Go to flow, or do it in the graph editor. But I'm a person that tries out the waters with flow and then goes into the graph editor. So let's say I wanted to make this like a quick transition, like so I do something like this. So boom, it's like this. And then let's say you wanted to zoom in earlier. Now you want to move the keyframes here and then do like this. Doesn't look the best, but it's more so about like the execution of it. So it's like this, And what I usually do when it comes to motion graphic stuff, I use posterized time because, you know, it just makes everything look better. Not 7, what am I doing? 12. It just feels a lot like this. It feels a lot more, because I like more of like a gritty feel to it, like a laggy sort of feel to it, and that's what I like about most things. Obviously, I forgot, you got to make the stars spin. Animation. Thing about motion graphics is that you want animation in every single place you can find it, like in terms of just tiny things like the star, you know, spinning, or just text animation. We're gonna get into that in a little bit. And you gotta make the star spin, and then like it's not the best, but in terms of just motion graphics and text, like I feel like text here for me, I'd say like it has to be more scaled. Like when it's zoomed in, it has to be like more like scaled out like this. Then maybe a text animation, like so we're gonna do like a smooth slide up thing. So you want to add opacity. You want to add 2 positions. The one on top is gonna have the opacity one, range selector one, animator one, position and opacity. Animator 2 only gonna have position. So you want to make the one on top 35 on the Y, and then opacity 0 on the bottom, minus 35, and obviously no opacity. Then you want to go to range selector. Don't do start this time. You want to do offset, and then you want to make it so it looks like this, and it looks clean. Now there's in advanced, there's different ways where it can go up. What you could do is randomize order or character offset and value, but it doesn't really need that. It already looks, I'd say, decent, and all this really needs is just like more like things in the background. Like say you wanted to add like a line, not like that, like it doesn't look good, but like I feel like y'all see what I'm trying to do. Like just add extra things in the back. You'll see when we get to the next section. But this is it for the motion graphic text section and animation, but we're gonna get into more animation later. Now we are in the edit. I made the sticky edit. So the comment said the text animation, well, I don't know which specific text it's talking about, so we're just gonna go through each one. So the first one, right in this part. Oh, okay, it's working. What I did was, it may seem a little bit complicated, but I promise you it's not. What I started off with is the trick I just taught y'all. It was the animator 1 and 2 position, what's it called, the 35 and minus 35. I started off with that and doing the offset thing, but for the lyrics she said poppin', and then like I made it go to like 59, which is like the half point where it said only poppin'. And then when the beat dropped, like right here, when I put the little frame right here, then I made it say the other half, which is this keyframe right here, like as you can see right here, and that's what made it go from popping to the other part. Now starting off with the animation itself right here, position, scale, and rotation. Now this is my favorite selector. It's my favorite selector, and honestly it's my favorite sort of text animation to use. It's called the wiggly, or just wiggly, that's what it is, wiggly selector. So what you want to do is press animate, press all transform properties, and just go to the animator 2, press selector, and press wiggly. So what I usually do, I make like the position on it usually like absurd, like minus 500, 300, and then scale something absurd, and then rotation something absurd, and it makes the text look like this, like something like obscure. And what I do on the second keyframe, I make it like sort of close to normal, but it's still not like in position. So I make position 40, and then I make scale 120, and then rotation 27, which doesn't do an absurd difference, but it makes it doesn't make it fit in as regular. So that's what I did. And then with the beat drop, I made it go back to absurd again, which is one frame after, which is this. It made it look like this. And then I did the same thing, but like, you know, like a little bit close to normal, but not really normal, minus 61, 87, and -10 for rotation. That's the first text animation, and it's the same with the second one right here. And then with this one, I just did the same trick I showed y'all, the range selector moving up thing. It's with a different posterized time. I forgot to mention, all these have posterized time on it, but it depends on what FPS looks good for you, or if you just don't want to use it at all, that's fine as well. So if we just play it out, it looks like that, and then it's nothing like crazy, it's just that. And then for the text animation here, all I made it really do is same wiggly selector thing, but like less absurd, and start off like what I did here is I made the starting animation in different fonts, and then I switched it into Helvetica, which I thought looked cool because it went from like big and like bold to like you know. Animation, kind of the same thing as last time. What I did, just a little bit less absurd. The next text is the Glorilla one right here. I stretch it out. I stretch out the text for 1 frame, and then I make the text different for 2 frames, and then I move it and change the scale a little bit for 1 frame. Then there's the sticky text right here. Again, nothing too crazy. It took me a while to make it, but it's really nothing crazy. So I made this pre-comp. Basically what I did was I had this thing called motion tile, and I keyframed the tile center. I made the output and width, or not, what am I talking about? Width and height output 250, and then I keyframed the tile center to make it move along the X, as you can see it's moving, and it makes it seem like it's not seen, but it is repeating, right? And what graph did I use on this? I think it was just like the regular F9 easy ease on it, because I just thought it looked cooler than any other graph I had. That's it. And then I used the same text again over here, but in a different color, so nothing crazy about that. And yeah, pretty much it for all the text I had in here. That's it for the video. If you enjoyed, subscribe, and if you want me to make tutorials on anything else, just leave a comment below. I'm back in a creative state where like I can teach, or I'm back in like a state where I can teach people what I do, because I'm not gonna lie, for the past few months I've been a lot more critical of myself and more critical of like, okay, am I really ready to teach people? Because I've always thought in my head that I wasn't that good at teaching people what to do, but for people wanting to know how I do it, you know, it makes sense. Like, okay, I might as well just, you know. So thank you for watching. Again, if you want another tutorial, comment section, and yeah, I'll see you guys next video.
Niggas ask me how I do, I don't know to be your soul. I just walking home, nickels, leaving nothing on the shelf. Niggas used to